and welcome this week to the McKenzie Hour. I promise it's the fastest hour in internet radio. Um, I'll be joined tonight by an old co-host of mine back in Paramania radio days, and then I've also done a lot of events with this gentleman. So I'd like to go ahead and introduce him right now, the world's most dangerous man, Stan Howard. Stan, happy
Well,
happy to have you on here, brother.
at least my ex-wife thinks I'm dangerous, I guess.
Well, you carry nine weapons and a bazooka and uh, an M law, and you got all this stuff that you pack around. You guarding the president and shit. So,
And
um,
that chintzy hand grenade with the loose pin. Things drove me bats for years.
yeah. Well, welcome on the show, brother.
I appreciate you.
This is my third show, and that don't mean you're in the pecking order of you were my third favorite. Uh, I started off my first show with Gina Ferguson, and then last week I did dowsing rods, and I was by myself, and uh, and this week I am introducing new listeners to Stan the Man, and me and Stan go back several years ago. We did some radio together on Paramania Radio, and man, that seems like ages ago.
Oh man. And folks, don't let him lie to you. I was the fourth favorite and somebody canceled out. So
That's what it is, man. I had like I think seven people lined up for tonight, and they all had something to
there you
do.
go.
So I was like, I know Stan will come on. Oh,
Back to plan Z.
back to Plan Z. Heck yeah. So to let the listeners know a little bit about, like I said, me and Stan, we did some radio together, and we done some events together. We had a place in common. That's actually where we met, right? Was
Oh
Morristown
yeah.
Lodge. Yeah, we met at
Yes.
Morristown Lodge in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and that was just a location that his team was doing and my team was doing, and they had a couple of. I think they were some of the best public events that I ever went to.
Oh.
Was the events they had? They had the girls from Ghost Hunters International, Amy Bruni and Chris Williams,
Yep.
and then they had the guys from Ghost Hunters International. They had uh, Scott Tepperman and what was the crazy
Paul
British
Bradford.
guys? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Paul
Paul.
Bradford. Yep.
I love Paul. But man, we had
Yep.
we had a good time. We had a good time at those events.
Oh, those are great times, man. Those are times I wish would come back, I mean, that's, everybody's out here doing their thing. I get it, but we had a lot of fun, man. That was I mean, people just really need to go to more of these events and meet more people that share the same common interests like we did. We just got out there and did our thing. And I know we talked about this before. Our groups were different than everybody else's. That's what kind of, I guess, drew us to each other a little bit. And a lot of these groups out there were like, had these tech managers and lead
Yeah,
investigators. We were just a group of friends, man. We just out there sharing the same common interest. We were like, yeah, we talk about these things. Let's talk about the paranormal. Let's don't talk about who's in charge. Let's actually talk about the paranormal.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what made us different.
Yeah, who cared who was in
Yeah,
charge? I mean, I had
exactly.
our team met your team, and we all got along so well. There was no egos, and the weird thing about having that event was you had you guys investigated there a lot. We investigated there a lot. Nowadays, that would be a damn war. You couldn't get two teams investigating the same location together. They just start fighting. It would be
Oh
awful,
yeah. And that
But
is awful. I mean,
it
that's
is,
just
man.
not the way to go.
It
You
is
know?
not the way to go. But we had a good time when we all met. As a matter of fact, that's where I met Paul Browning. And
Oh yeah, Paul. Yeah.
yeah,
He's no
yeah,
longer
miss.
with us. Yeah.
I know, man. I miss Paul.
I do too. He was great.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was a hell of a guy, and miss him. Think about him a lot actually since I've been getting back into radio and everything. Because I know he'd be listening, man. He'd been wanting to
Oh
come on the
yeah.
show. He used to
He
pop
was
in my old show a lot. You know.
he's a big supporter, man. I mean, he was there. If you did something in the paranormal, man, he was there to support you.
Yes,
I mean, he was one of those. He was a groupie, man. He
he
was
was.
kind of like a groupie.
He was a
He was
groupie that was
awesome.
he was a groupie that was smarter than almost all of us, you
Oh
know?
God, man, he come out with some genius ideas. He was
He
telling me one
did.
time, man, that he dropped a set of keys. They kept seeing shadow people down at the Octagon Hall, and
Right.
he told everybody, he said, "You just everybody be quiet," and he just threw his car keys out there. And all of a sudden, they said something run down the steps like a shadow, checked out the keys and run back up the steps. I mean, who
Wow.
would have thought of something simple like that, man? I mean,
I
he was
know.
just great, full of great ideas, man.
He was. I remember the first conversation I had with him. We were at Morristown Lodge for one of those events, and he said, "Hey, let me ask you a question." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "If you have an infrared thermometer and you shoot it across the room, what's it going to read? What temperature is it going to read?" And I said, "It's going to read the temperature of the wall that it hits." And he was like, "Oh, I like this guy. I like this
Yeah.
guy." He's because he did not believe that
Hmm.
you could take the temperature and that thermometer was going to catch the temperature of something floating in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
It was going to catch the first solid object it hit, and
Exactly.
and so we hit it off from, and like you said, man, the thing about it, we had lots of radio shows together. You and I did. Me and my other former co-host had a lot of shows together. Paul popped in and out of every one of those shows. In the chat room, I would almost weekly see Paul Browning's name pop up, and he would chat with everybody and maybe sometimes ask a question in the chat room, and then stick around and finish out the show. And back then, I was 2 hour shows, so you were devoting pretty good amount of time to sit down and listen to a 2 hour podcast that was every week.
Oh yeah.
And Paul was right there, and I think. I didn't know we'd go this direction in the conversation. Actually hadn't even thought about mentioning Paul, but have you noticed, like, our teams met down there and we all just became friends and we all got along, and everybody that came to Morristown Lodge got along with each other. But have you noticed that, like, not long after all of that, when everyone wanted to be the next Zach Bagans or the next Grant or Jay, did you notice the vitriol that started in between paranormal organizations?
Yeah, I mean, there was just, I don't know, man. There was so much going on, man. Like I say, and we talked about this too. There was so much going on. It kind of overwhelmed you, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, it just, I don't know. I had to get away from some of that, you know? And I mean, I know we talked about that too, but, yeah, I had to go on and do my own thing. And of course, things have changed now and technology has changed and I don't know, man. It's just looking back and it kind of depresses you. It really does, or just does me, because I mean we've lost a lot of great people like Paul and I mean in the field, and I've known a lot of other people. There was an individual that I used to go out with a lot, and he passed away. He was just an older guy, and we talked about like we're doing now, we just
Hmm.
and just talked about anything and everything, and now he's gone, and I said, and I was like, I got to try to get the group back together. I mean, I got to
Yeah.
get people back together with this, with sharing ideas and things, and seeing what their opinions are on things with new technology coming out. And I mean,
Hmm.
man, it's just like I say, it's just a lot of things just overwhelmed me, and now I got to get back in it, man. I got to really get back in it. I'm
Well,
excited. Got new
yeah, yeah.
equipment and stuff, and
I can hear this in your voice that you're excited, and you know what? I can feel what you're saying, because that I had I had a radio show that was successful, and I was in my third rebirth of that show, Paranormally Awake, and I was co-hosting with Joe Atkins and Tracy Rousey, of Awakening Radio on here on Nighthawk, and I had a team that investigated with me. I had Kentucky Paranormal Investigators. That was us, and I had that organization stood for 14 years, 13 years we were together.
oh wow.
Different members coming and going, but I held it together for 13 years. I had a website for about 10 of those. We filmed a pilot. We I was into this. I traveled all over the mid United States, going to conferences and networking, and then I had to walk away from all of it because of the backstabbing, the bitterness, the ugliness. If
Yeah.
you did a location and you said you didn't find anything at that location, the team that went before you that claimed they saw 147 demons then started bad mouthing you to
Oh
everybody,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and
Because it's like you was discredited almost something, you know?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, just
yeah.
because this shit didn't happen when you were there, suddenly you're a bad
It's,
guy
it's
making it up, and
yeah, and
um,
they didn't realize that sometimes that just don't happen, man. It just nothing happens. That's something that's actually part of
right,
it, you know? It's
right. Yeah, I mean that's the way it goes. You can't say, but it got so ugly that it just hit me, man. It like hit me in 2 days. It wasn't a gradual. It was like I had all this fire for going out and researching what was going on, and I had the same fire for UFOs and Bigfoot, anything paranormal. I was
oh,
all
I'm the same
over it,
way.
and all of a sudden, it's like it all hit me in one evening. Like in one evening I just I had this I don't know, I slowed down for a minute maybe. I slowed down and then it just hit me. It's like, man, this is like I'm putting more into this than I do work. This is work. And I was like, it's no longer fun because it's too much like a job. I've turned it into a job where if I'm not
Hmm.
doing something in the paranormal, I'm trying to think up something to do in the paranormal. And it was just this 20, and then my team, I had drama in my team and there's, man, if you're out there and you're listening to me and you're going to start your own organization, for the love of God, don't add anyone to your team until you've took them on about 3 or 4 investigations, because you never you cannot tell how someone's going to be until you say, okay, yep, now you're part of us, and then holy shit, look out, man. And
Yep,
I had that
you're
happen to
exactly right.
me, and I just said, the heck with all this. I quit the radio show. I stepped down as station
Hmm.
manager at Paramania, quit the radio show, quit ghost hunting, quit Bigfoot hunting, quit UFO watching, sold most of my equipment, and walked away from every bit of it. Just walked away and didn't do anything for years. And it's funny that a group of friends that I had went investigating with, and that's what you were talking about earlier. I had fun with my team, but we were taking it extremely serious. Like if you made a freaking noise
Hmm.
and you didn't call out that was you, everybody was going to give you a beat down with a pillowcase full of 11-ounce cans afterwards. Okay, so I went out with this new team, and they weren't a team; they were just a group of friends having fun. And if you coughed or you burped or you made a noise, you could fart. It didn't matter. Everybody just giggle and you go on with life. It's
Yeah, and you
life.
just went on. Yeah,
And and so what happened was I had been away for 3 or 4 years, and Gina, who I had as the first, I basically credit her for getting that fire back in me, because she's like, "Hey, you should come to this location with us. You went there once before. It was St. Albans in Radford, Virginia." She was like, "Come on, come with us." And she said, the team is still called TSP. You named it, and it's still called that." And I was like, "Okay, I'll try it." And I went, and I was like a kid in a candy store, brother. I had a blast.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
things like I say, things have changed, and I think people have, a lot of that adolescent, especially the folks that were doing it years ago, decades ago, like us, a lot of that adolescent was there. Now I think it's turned into a lot of wisdom. And I see the young duds out there, you know what I'm saying, doing their thing, and they're falling, I hate to say it, but they're falling toward the same directions that it was going in the first place. You know what I'm saying? When me and you were out there doing it, it's the I'm better than yous and you're
yeah.
not better than me and I can do this better than you can. And I'm like, man, why y'all are doing the same crap? Y'all just on TikTok. I mean,
Yeah,
doing it. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that's all it is. It's the only difference, man.
yeah, yeah. You got 70,000 followers on TikTok, but you don't know shit yet.
Yeah, you don't get to nothing.
That is so funny, man, because you do see that. It's like I'm pretty old now. I'm not going to tell my age here on the radio, but it's old. I'm freaking out there, brother. I'm not Joe Biden old, but I'm Hunter Biden old. But the when I first started, I was not leading my group. I was the low man on the totem pole of a bunch of people that I didn't even know that were 20 years older than me. And so by the time I started my own team, I had Oh, that's the way it worked back in the day. You didn't just start a team and become a professional overnight. You know, I I was the one that had to pack the equipment in. You know, we were talking about that hierarchy earlier. I wasn't a tech guy. I was a strong guy, so I got to pack all the equipment in. I got to pack stuff upstairs. I understood DVR systems, so I was the one that put the cameras out, and that's what I did.
Hmm.
And I hung out with some people, and then that went away, and I started. I met a guy at work that loved it. We started our own team, and boom, there we went. But you know, when I done that, I'd already been doing this since 1992, long before Jay and Grant come on TV with their Roto-Rooter ghost
Hmm.
hunting show. And and like now, I mean, I'm not going to mention any names here, but just recently, someone I know, they joined a team. They went on 2 investigations. They got into it with that team, and they started their own deal, and they're a professional now. You know,
Yeah,
and I still, hey, I'm a smart ass. I'll be the
yeah.
first to admit that I am a smart ass. And I've basically I've had a camera in my hand for the last 35 years of my life, and so I like to think that I'm pretty good at looking at a photo and saying, "Nah, this is what this is," because I've
Hmm.
literally taken. Well, I had a camera that had 190,000 shutters on it, and that was all paranormal related pictures. So I know I've probably taken somewhere in the neighborhood of 500,000 pictures on investigations.
Yeah.
And so when you sample a 500,000 pictures, you tend to recognize, "Oh, I know what this is. I know what that is." So
Hmm.
I have to watch myself because I caught myself getting on Facebook and hammering people's pictures. you know, uh, what you have there is you have a long exposure and you have movement, so that's why
And
you
they
get
hate
that.
that.
Oh,
They
they
hate
get
that.
mad. They get
Oh
mad
yeah,
because they've been on 3 investigations, and by God, they know what they're doing. You know,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it these new teams pop up, and they're always the same way. I think what they do, Stan. You mentioned it. You hit the nail on the head. They can't investigate, but they can market. You know,
Yes. Yep.
yes, they can.
Yeah.
They know how to promote. They know how to get people to like a Facebook page, and they know how to network and TikTok and all the other Chinese apps that's going on out there now, and they're
Yeah.
good at it. And they don't know jack about investigating, but they don't have to, and they'll probably end up getting a TV show.
All I know, and I think only thing I've really got going for me on TikTok is my Chinese spy loves me. I mean, I don't know who it is, but they really like me. I mean, me and my Chinese spy actually get along.
Oh God,
Because
man.
I've said some things that I probably should have got kicked. I mean, they're banned, and it's like they just overlook it. They're like, man, no, this guy's just old. He's just,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He's just talking his
he's
mind. I mean,
he's
it was just let him slide and go. I'm like, man, y'all must really like me
yeah,
because I don't know how to do
somewhere.
none of that other crap. You know?
So, hey, stand somewhere. There's a little Chinese guy, and
Yeah.
he's the one in control of watching your TikTok, and he's like,
Yes.
he okay, he Al Bundy,
Yeah.
guy, because I bet
Yeah.
you're the Al
And
Bundy.
he's got my picture on his T-shirt.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
going on, everybody? See?
yeah. I take care of Al Bundy. That's what his T-shirt says.
This my man. This my man.
And by the way, Dr. Pepper, if you want to sponsor me, please. Okay, had to take a drink, Stan.
There you
So
go.
trying to
I
talk
love
Dr.
Dr. Pepper, man. You
Oh,
talk
me
about
too.
Dr. Pepper, I do. I love Dr. Pepper, buddy. Ain't nothing like it.
Yeah, I'm working with the Dr. Pepper people. I'm like, look, just sponsor me. You know, a
Yeah, there you
dollar a
go.
month. Just give me a dollar a month, so that way I can say I'm sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
Just something, man. I
Yeah,
can think of like a Coke top. Just send me a Coke
yeah,
top in the
yeah,
mail.
yeah. You don't have to give me a dollar a month. Just send me a quarter. Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, Coke, whoever, whichever branch wants to do it. Send me a damn quarter. I will drink that stuff on air. I will pack it with me everywhere I go. I'll give it to people. You know, just to say I'm sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
There
But
you go, man.
yeah, so well, we both know why we sort of slowed down, and we both know
Yeah.
that we found that fire again. I remember it just a few short months ago. You messaged me, and you're like, "Holy cow, man! I've got a TikTok. I am going wide open in this, and I'm building all this
Yeah.
cool equipment." And I was like, "Damn, he got the fever again," you know?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I mean,
I,
there's so much out there that's changed in technology and from the days we were there. I mean, of course, some of the stuff we had was pretty cool, but it's like it's really beefed up now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
It's
there's a lot more lights on the equipment now than there was 15 years
yeah.
ago.
And
Yeah,
and not to saying it's all good. I just want to go out there and there's so much available. I want to test it and see what works,
yeah.
what don't work. I'm just dying to get my hands on some of that stuff. Just see if it's garbage or maybe find the holy grail, man. And what we were looking for.
well, I tell people it's like they're like, do you believe that equipment works? Do you believe this equipment works? And I mean, hell, we don't know. But if if I'm going to a location, see, our group is a little different. We do these as mini vacations. So we only
Hmm.
stay at places that will let us rent it 2 nights, and we only go to places that let us stay on location. So we go in on Friday evening and we leave Sunday afternoon. And we leave the location like maybe to go get food and bring back and eat. But basically we're there. So, you know, for anyone out there that's not been on an investigation, I'm gonna show you Stan can't see me because he's got his video off. He's covered in blood. He's the world's most dangerous man. He assassinated a couple of people today. But this is what most of your investigations. If you investigate for 48 hours, this is mostly what you do right there. You just sit and stare and look and walk around a little
Oh
bit.
yeah.
Then you sit and you listen, and then you walk a few feet and you sit and listen, and then you go heard something. But that's basically what you do. So you start doing that
Hmm.
you start doing that 16 hours in a day, and you will be glad that the equipment you bought has little flashy lights, because
Hmm.
those little flashy lights can get you through some very it's like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
god, it lit up, and then all of a sudden your
Oh
blood's
yeah.
running again because it lit
They
up. It might
play
have.
through, man. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Some of these folks have learned to play through even more. It's man, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's some damn good actors out there, dude. They just
Oh
don't know it. They just
yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
it.
Well,
They're
unfortunately,
entertainers, you
there
know.
are, and I'm glad you brought that up because like me, I'm an asshole and I like to bitch. Pardon the language. So I noticed, like, there's this group of YouTube people.
Mhm.
Um, I wouldn't even put Destination Fear, that little group, in there because they pretty much say, that they're there is for fun. They're there for fun and it's all for show, and that's cool. But there's a lot of YouTube people, the two brothers, the twins.
Mhm.
Everything is demonic. If you go to their page, they're constantly running into demons, and it's
Oh
because they
yeah.
hear a noise in the room over, and it's a demon, and they crap their pants. But it but really, I mean, I tell people all that because I used to get messages on Facebook. I don't anymore because, like I said, I stepped away, so I wasn't posting paranormal stuff. But I used to get a lot of messages, and it would be from people that was on my Facebook that listened to the show, and they're like, I'm getting ready to start investigating. What's it like? And I said, well, you know, 52 hours of nothing and
Mhm.
1 minute and 20 seconds of excitement,
Yeah.
and that's
People
pretty
don't
much
realize
it.
that.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
realize that. And they watch these YouTube shows now because back when we were going at it, the only YouTube shows that you seen were teams, and they were sinister YouTube shows. Everybody folded their arms and they all took steroids and they were big and strong looking men. Um, but they weren't going out and acting crazy, petrified of every noise. This these YouTube channels that you see now with, everything's demon, everything. We went to the most haunted location.
Mhm.
We left at 1 o'clock in the morning, and we were vomiting up pizza we ate 2 years ago. That kind of stuff. Um, so now it's like I wouldn't know, man. I wouldn't know how if I'd never been ghost hunting. I would have no idea what to expect by watching YouTube videos. Um, because
It's gotten wild. Let's put it like
oh,
that. It's
brother,
gotten crazy, man.
they have made it completely over the top.
Oh yeah.
It's so if you go and you don't walk around a corner and the devil's standing there smoking a cigarette and says want to hit, if that doesn't happen, you're not even going to think you had fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you're exactly right, man. It's like they turn everything into paranormal, or they try so hard,
Yeah.
or they just, I hate to say it, but I mean, they lie a lot. I mean, come on, man. You know, I mean, it's their exaggeration is just off the chart, man. It's you're like, man, I know that didn't happen. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all, I mean, and they're getting caught. Some of them are actually getting caught out
Oh,
there doing
no,
this stuff, man. I mean,
no.
you're like, and people are calling them out on it, and it's and then you know they've got so damn many fans. Then you tick off one person, you're like, no, they didn't. Then you got 500,000 people standing behind of them against you, and you got evidence on them that they cheated. Now you got 500,000 people mad at you. You're like, my
Yeah,
God, man, were they that damn big? I mean,
yeah.
it's gotten so crazy and so goofy. That's like I say, that's why I kind of had to go off on my own a little bit, man. I was like, I can't, you know, I went out with a group one time and I thought, man, this group's gonna be fun. You know, it's I mean, they're kind of going somewhere and everything. And they were like, okay, yeah, there's an area out here and it's got a graveyard out here. And I'm thinking, man, we're gonna go to the cemetery, you know, at night. That's kind of cool, you know. I get all my equipment together. You know what they did, man? We went out there and they talked to tree spirits. And what the hell did I get myself into? I mean,
What?
talking to tree spirits. Yes, I was out there talking I was like, man, I thought we was gonna go to that cemetery over there. No, they over here talking to tree spirits, man. I was like, oh, this is not good. This ain't good.
Oh my God.
So I was like, and that's kind of where I thought, you know, this has really gotten, I don't know, goofy. You know what I'm saying? This has gotten silly. And I thought they're not taking it serious enough. They're not, I don't know what their belief systems are. And I thought this just ain't for me no more, man. This group thing. And it's everybody was so mad. And of course, I had an open group, you know. I mean, everybody's like, hey, man, this group's said they, you know, they can take me out here to go on this investigation. Go for it, man. Go for it. Go. You don't mind? No, heck no, man. That's what it is. Go see what they're doing different and learn something, and maybe you come back and show us, you know, and teach us how maybe they're doing something different. You know, that's how we were, you know. But then all of a sudden, man, I was like, man, they're coming back, and then they started falling for it. Some of my team members, I was like, man, this ain't good, man. This ain't good. I told Julie, I said, you know, because Julie was kind of like me. She was like, kind of went got a little silly there for a while. And I was like, yeah, a lot silly. I don't know. So I started buying equipment on my own and doing my own thing. And man, I got out there about a year and a half ago, I guess, and I went to a cemetery down here in Corydon, Indiana, and Cedar Hill. And man, I went to the older part, and I was kind of interested in the older graves, you know, the pioneer part of the graves and
Right.
stuff, you know, the Revolutionary War soldiers and the Battle 1812s and Spanish American War. And I thought, man, these are cool graves. Then I started reviewing back because I walk around, just ask questions. And I started getting EVPs, and I thought, oh wow. Well, then I started getting into ghost box kick. You know, I had the old 12587 model Radio Shack Hike, and I had the
The
469
old shack
model, and
hack.
oh yeah, man, I love those. And then I thought, I wonder what this new stuff is. You know, the PSB 7T, you know what I'm saying? The PSB
Yeah.
11s, and I thought the Ghost Box Pro, and I thought the S box come out, the Paranormal, you know, Spirit box. I thought, so I saw what the hell, man. I just bought all of them. Let's try this shit, man. I was going out there and kind of getting, like you said, I kind of got the fever again, man, and I was getting kind of wild with it. And I thought, man, but I thought to myself, you know, this stuff is cool. This new stuff they got out here, it's actually kind of cool. But man, that 12587 model was like, man, I realized that me and you, we had the holy grail. You know, it's just making it better. You know, how can I make this better? Then I
Yeah.
started just goofing off. You know what I'm saying? I started taking old analog TVs apart and I started mixing different antennas. And then I stumbled onto something, man. And I thought, what the hell was this? And I noticed that I had this old, like T100 old Casio TV. And I just hooked it up with a splitter and put it in with that ghost box, the 12587 model. And I thought, wonder what it happens if I mixed radio waves with analog TV signal waves. And of course, back in like 2014, 15, they ended analog TV. They
hmm
just ended it. And I thought, well, there shouldn't be nothing coming out in those waves, but it's still scanning because it's when you hit the scan, it's going to scan for like channel 3 or 1132, whatever your local channels were at the day, right? Well, there's
Right.
nothing out there. So it's almost like it's the ghost box. It completely starts scanning and constantly. It's not hitting anything. There's no channels out there for it. To hit. So it's almost like remember we used to take it in the old 12587 models and the 469 models, we used to bend that pin inside and
hmm
it make it scan. Well, Yeah, let me get a drink here real quick. My throat is killing me.
Is that a Dr. Pepper?
No, it's actually a good old Coca-Cola.
Oh, you're fired.
Yeah, no. But I noticed that it was scanning along with the ghost box scanning. They were scanning at the same time, constantly, nonstop. So I was pulling in FM waves at about 150 ms scan speeds on the 12587 model,
Mm-hmm.
and I was pulling in about the same, close to it on the VHF and the UHF. I tried UHF, I didn't get anything. All of a sudden, I flipped the switch for the first time on the VHF, and you know how all that little clacking, cluck, 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 the radio chatter and stuff you get on these other ghost boxes you hear on TV?
Yeah, yeah.
It's it it stopped all that. I was like, it just went blank. And all of a sudden, voices started coming through crystal clear. So I started asking questions. How old are you? 58. How did you die? I've been burned. I was getting direct answers. I've actually got them on TikTok. Posted them all up there, and I get a very clear "get out." And I was like, "Whoa!" There was no clicking. All that click, 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 click. Did you hear? And then a voice. Maybe
Yeah.
you got to really listen in real close to hear a
Yeah,
voice.
that
It
popping is
took all that
aggravating.
out. It took it all out. 100% of it. As soon as I turned the VHF off, bling, click, 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 turn it back on, clunk, it was silent. And all I was getting was the voices. I thought, what the hell did I just stumble on? And I started, I built 14 of these models, and I call them the ARV units because my first name's Arvel. So I named it the ARV unit, Anomaly Radio Vox. Okay. So I thought, man, I come up with some kind of cool shit like that. And so I started calling this thing the ARV unit Ghost Box. So then I started putting more and more antennas on it. And I started trying different things. Like I say, I had 14 different models of this thing. And then a guy was like, man, I'll give you $1,000 for one. I was like, man, I only built the damn thing for like 300 bucks. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that. I'm not money hungry. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not like that. So he was like, man, if I give you money, would you build me one? Sure, absolutely. So I told him what he needed. I got it all. I built him one. And now he uses it. He's like, man, this thing's gold. This thing's wild. I was like, yeah. So I just stumbled onto this crap, man. But see, this is what it takes. This is the passion that people like me, you, Joe Clark, Joe Akins, Paul Browning. This is the passion that we had, a couple decades ago. And
Oh yeah.
the new duds, they're just grabbing stuff that's off Go Stop and they're rolling with it, man. They're just
Yeah.
but they're not doing anything to make it better. But we did, and we kept it real. We kept it friendly. We were all friends. We weren't tech managers and lead investigators, and you know what I'm saying. We wasn't. We were just friends, man. We shared these ideas, And you were talking about a while ago. You were talking about that we sat and stared for hours and stuff. But
Just
man,
sit and
didn't we have
listen,
the
man.
best conversations
Oh,
though?
yes, very much.
But
And
we
I would get some of the best EVP while we were doing that,
Yes.
not even investigating.
Yes, and we just sitting there, and all of a sudden we go back and listen to ourselves talking, yeah, kind of like we're doing now,
Yep.
and then we run back, and then we hear a "you go away" in the
Yeah.
back. We was
Yeah.
like, man, what the hell was that? You
Yeah.
know, it was
Yep.
cool, man. I miss those days. I really do miss those days.
I do too. And man, I really just uh, that's why I'm with this TSP group because our investigations, I don't know. I'm not going to call them investigations or mini vacations. Um, we go and we're so happy to see each other, and we all bring enormous amounts of food, and then we also bring enormous amounts of little techno gadgets that we've either that we've bought, built, heard about, done something with, um, and then we just spend the weekend being friends.
Exactly.
It's friendship and it's family. It really is. It's like family. It's crazy because
Yes.
we talk. Uh, when you were involved in the chat room of my show last week,
Yeah.
and the chat room just blew up. Those were TSP members, coming to support me.
Oh, cool.
And
And see,
they didn't.
that's what we need, to support each
Yes,
other. That's
yes,
cool.
yes. And I think a lot of people are afraid to. A lot of people right now are afraid to support someone else because they're like, well, what if I support him and he makes it? Or she makes it. They
Exactly.
make it big, and then I'm just sitting here like, oh shit, I supported them, but now they're big time, and I'm still working it super quick. You know,
Yep.
it's it
Yeah.
it's that kind of stuff has to stop. You know, we just
Yeah.
I like being friends. Like our team always went places and we made friends everywhere we went. And
Yeah.
I went to there's only a couple of people that I met in the paranormal that I just could not make friends with. I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not going to be
There's a couple of same here.
you
There's a few
you
out
know
there.
there's just some that the personality rubbed me, and it's strange for me because I kind of like everybody. I'm a big teddy bear, you know, and
Yep.
for me to meet people and just instantly be like, nope, nope, that person is an asshat, and I'm not going to
Yep.
have anything to do with them. So, you know,
And they're out there. They're still out there. There's some new
oh yeah.
upcoming ass
Well,
hats too.
well, I always said that you can basically divide people in the paranormal up in investigators into three groups. Okay, you have well, you can almost say four groups, but I'm just going to stick with three. You got three groups. You got people like kind of like I put us in this group and all my members of TSP. You got people who find it fascinating to be a part of something that you don't understand. It's fascinating.
Mhm.
You got one of these inquisitive brains. Like when I was a kid, I would sit and watch my grandfather, you know, work on a piece of farm equipment, and it was just I would absolutely kill myself keeping up with every move that he made so I could do the same thing later. And so that was
Mhm.
the brain that I had. Okay, you have a lot of those people, the Paul Browning types. You know, you,
Mhm.
me, and honestly, Paul Bradford, dude. Paul Bradford made equipment, and you know, he's not probably should be more well known for some of the equipment that he's made. Um, but he's mostly well known for being the hilarious British guy on Ghost Hunters International. But
Mhm.
the second group of people are the people who peaked in high school, and that's the ones I have. It's you know ex musicians, ex actors, ex popular people in high school that just never blossomed like they hoped they would, and so
Mhm.
they see the paranormal as their last great chance of becoming a household name. And those are the ones that can absolutely market their hind end off. You know, they know they're the ones that set up the booth at Scarefest that says as seen on TV or catch us on YouTube, and it's like, man, anybody can be on YouTube. Anybody can upload a damn video to YouTube, so it doesn't do me any good to promote that I'm on YouTube. And then the third group are the misfits, and I kind of put myself in that group too because the third group are the people who maybe in high school they just flew under the radar even though I didn't fly under the radar, I was an absolute an idiot. Uh, but you know, you find a lot of people, you meet a lot of people in the paranormal that it almost draws that personality as well, that
Yeah.
misfit personality that never could quite fit in. And you know, the old days of the paranormal before the two guys from Roto-Rooter just showed everyone that you could make a living at when I first started in this stand, you know, I didn't really. There was not that. There was a lot of people that did it. You just didn't know because you didn't have the internet to.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, I just seen someone at a gas station that had a logo on their car. You know, and I'm like, hey,
Mhm.
that's cool. I had already wanted to do it. That's how I got started. But you know, back then though, people really did 100% have I hate to use the word unity because that just irks me for some reason. It's
Oh
like
no, that's a cuss
it's
word. Oh
it's
yeah.
a cuss word. It is a cuss word. Shit. Remind myself to go back and delete the last 20 seconds of audio.
Yeah, that's a
So
cuss word.
so when you're watching this live and you see my mouth moving and nothing comes out, it's because I believe I wouldn't go so far as to say, but you did not have competition because everybody was in it together, not to make it big. They were in it to answer questions. They wanted
Mhm.
questions answered. And, you know, you were talking about you went out with some people and they started talking to trees. Okay. I'm gonna tell a story here, and I've only ever told this story once. And
Oh boy.
I was a guest speaker at a paranormal conference, and there was maybe it wasn't the there was I had no idea what other people were going to talk about. Um, it wasn't like you were John Tenney was there. John Tenney was a big name in this for a while. Um, the other gentleman he passed away. The big guy Jason. You remember Jason? Was it Jason from
Oh my
Chicago?
Yes.
Yeah, he passed
Did
away,
he
man.
really?
Yeah, yeah, he passed away, and that dude was solid, man. I love that dude. So
Man.
I had spent about a month figuring out what I was going to talk about, getting a presentation together, working on it. I had it to where I could talk for a whole hour. It's not hard for me to do. Um, I like to talk and hear myself talk, but I had this. I had an hour of conversation that I had basically every word memorized. I was going to give this presentation, and then I get there, and the person before me gives the same damn presentation.
Oh
So
my
I'm like,
goodness.
I can't go up there and do an
Oh my
hour on what that
goodness.
guy did. So I literally had 15 freaking minutes to come up with a 1 hour presentation. So I thought, I'm just going to go up. I thought no one else is talking. You had, I don't know, there's probably 75 people there at this conference. It was a small conference in Southeast Kentucky, but you had enough people there, and I'd already spoken to a lot of them, and a lot were just local people, and they had actually never been investigating. They were just interested in the paranormal. So I decided to tell, how would you go about getting started? Because nobody ever talks about that at these conferences.
Yeah.
They talk above that, but I'm like, here's what you need to get started. You need a a pencil and a sheet of paper and a flashlight.
Hmm.
That's a great start. Write down what you see and what you hear. Write down the times. Write down the temperature. Write down the anything that you can think of. Keep notes, and that's a great way to start investigating, because it'll force you. If you don't have any gadgets, it's going to force you to listen. Number one, you're
Hmm.
going to have to listen. So, but I told this story. I wanted to. I never told this story before. This will be my second time, so I'm going to tell you tonight because you're an old friend and I love you dearly. So you need to hear this story. So, so I was with a group called American Paranormal, and that was before Chris Dedman had a group called American Paranormal. Chris Dedman's another longtime guy in the field. I like Chris, but they were American Paranormal, and they were out of mostly Winchester and Lexington, Kentucky, and that was who I went out with first. And it was an older guy. I would put him in the group of people who didn't have friends in high school. He had the social ability of an elephant. I mean, he just really didn't say anything. He had no emotion. You could say the funniest thing in the world, and people would be pissing themselves, rolling to the floor, and he'd be looking at you like, I don't get it. But anyway, he quit, and
Oh,
we were using all his equipment, and so
yeah.
the team just kind of went kapooey. And so I had phone numbers from everyone that was investigating with us, and a couple of months went by, and I'm like, man, I really want to get back at it again. And I was enjoying it. And none of it was pay to play, by the way. It was all people's homes. But
Mhm.
I enjoy going into people's homes and getting lice and bed bugs and everything. Anyway,
Yeah, that's why my head. That's why I ain't got no hair.
so I call one of them up, and I'm like, hey, Teddy, have you found anything, man? Is there anybody down your way? And he lived real close to the Natural Bridge State Park, Slade, Kentucky. He lived down in that area. And he said, man, he said, I've got a phone number of a guy who has a team. He said, I'm going to quit though. He said, I've decided I'm done. But if you want his phone number, I'll give it to you. And I was like, hell yeah. So I called the
Yeah.
guy up, and I'm like, look, I was on American Paranormal, and it quit. And I don't know, what you've got going on, if you can use a hand, but, I've got a strong back. I keep my mouth shut. I understand audio, I understand video. So if you need any help, I've got a camera. And he's like, yeah, yeah, man. And he told me, he said, we're doing a it's gonna look like an empty field, but he said actually there were houses there, and during the it's a little known thing. He said during the Civil War, Northern soldiers um, said that those people were helping Southern soldiers, so they barricaded them in their homes and burnt their homes down. And he
Mm,
said, so we're going to go to that location. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's history right there.
yeah. Heck
There's
yeah.
that's might be something there. So I had to drive, and it was somewhere maybe 30 minutes from Slade, Kentucky, maybe further south, like dude. But anyway, I get to the location, and there's some cars parked there, and so I get out and I introduce myself and I shake hands, and to be honest with you, I had the worst feeling once I got there. I had the worst feeling because I'm looking around and everybody's like drinking a beer and chilling out, and I'm like, well, I guess they're chilling in their own way, but I was used to a little more structure, maybe a little took it a little more serious, and so they're all just kind of standing around talking, and they're waiting on one guy to show up, and I don't even remember the guy's name because trust me, this was the last time I ever went with him. So I'm sitting there thinking, waiting on this guy. I'm like, yeah, I should probably just leave. I just had a bad feeling, and so I'm telling this group this. I'm telling these people at this conference of how important it is to do your research, and I didn't do any research on these guys at all. But of course, there was no real. I mean, there was an internet, but it was in its infant stages, and nobody had Facebook. Nobody had. There wasn't Facebook, but nobody had like pages, web pages for paranormal teams.
Hmm.
It didn't exist at the time. So I go, this guy shows up in the pickup truck, and they're like, "Oh, he's here. Let's go. Let's get started." And I'm like, "Okay, finally, yeah, hell, yeah, let's get started." So they're like, you go with her. I'm like, okay. So she's like, you're going to stand here, and I'm going to stand here. And I realized that we start making a circle. We're forming a circle, pretty big circle, because there was about 8 people, maybe 10, somewhere between 8, 7, and 10 people probably. And so here's this big circle, and I see the guy that showed up in the pickup truck, the last guy that we were waiting on, and I see him walking up to the circle. But now, granted, it's dark, and um, nobody's got a flashlight on, but I can see it's a moonlit night. It was bright enough. I can see him walking up, and I hear something, and then I hear a cackle, and I'm like, "What the hell is he doing?" And he had a chicken stand. He had a live chicken, and he commenced to ripping its head off and sacrificing that chicken in the middle of
Wow.
our circle. Yeah, and
Wow.
that's how they were kicking off their investigation. He sacrificed a damn chicken. And I stood there for a minute and I thought, what in the hell have I got myself into? So I left. I was like, hey, not for me, guys. I don't need to kill farm animals to do to do paranormal investigating. But so I told that group at the conference that night, I said, don't be me. Do your
Yeah.
homework, because the last thing you want to do is be standing in a field with a bunch of people you don't know, why a guy cuts a chicken's head off with a knife. You don't want to be that. So
Now look, man,
hopefully,
that's different from the bucket of KFC, man.
yeah, yeah. Well, as far as I know, they weren't gonna cook the chicken either. So they were just
Oh
gonna,
man.
yeah, they just killed it. I don't know what they thought. It's like those spirits burned to death. Those people burned to death in their homes. I don't know if they're like, we're gonna lay here silently for eternity unless someone kills a chicken. If somebody if
Damn, man. That's
if
pretty
somebody
hard,
yeah, if
man.
if somebody kills a chicken, we're going to talk to your voice recorder. But until you kill a chicken,
Man,
you're not getting nothing. I don't think
I,
that's the way that worked.
I don't usually feel sorry for chickens, man, but I did. I do on that one, man.
Yeah, that poor.
Damn.
I remember it was the flapping of the wings that the chicken. I think the chicken knew his goose was cooked. He was like, "I'm screwed here.
Holy cow,
I can't get
man.
away." And I was like, Is he really?" And then he did. He killed the damn thing.
Damn, just give it an EMF detector. Tie an EMF detector to
I
him, let
know.
him run
I
around. I mean,
know.
you don't have to kill him.
You don't have to kill him. Let that chicken go lay an egg, brother. Leave it
Oh
alone. But heavy,
man.
they killed the damn chicken, and I
Jeez,
realized that
man.
night I was like, okay, it's not going to be easy to find a team. And then I did a few.
Say
I,
not.
it's a wonder I didn't quit then. It's like that should have
Damn,
been a
man.
sign right there, brother. But
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
but
leave this whole county.
yeah,
Whole
I'm
county's
getting out of here.
nuts.
If I get out of here with my life, I'm going to be doing good. But yeah, I just did my own thing and did cemeteries and a few places, and then uh, it was just a few years after that, and I went to work at for Singular Wireless in a call center, and a guy in that call center was talking one day about when he was in the military. He was stationed in Germany, and he would go around all the old cemeteries with a voice recorder. And I'm like, do what? And we just become new best friends. Let's build bunk beds so we have more room for activities. That kind of friendship. We just hit it off, and
Yeah.
then the next thing I know is Kentucky Paranormal Investigators, and I drafted my son-in-law. It was pretty much at gunpoint, like, "Oh, you're gonna be on my paranormal team, bud." And and here I am. Here I am. I don't know when that was, like 2000, and I guess when I started,
I
I don't know.
guess that. I guess that other group went back to Hazard County,
buddy.
Hazard
I don't
County
know,
Ghost Hunters or
I,
something. I mean, what the hell, man?
buddy. I couldn't tell you, but I tell you what, man. I bet they don't kill chickens now because chickens ain't cheap
Man,
anymore, brother.
you ain't a kidding. Daggone, man.
But then they could have
That's,
moved up to turkeys or goats, sheep. We don't
jeez,
know.
yeah. Yeah, that ain't
Calves.
good, man. Oh, wow, man. I didn't know you went through all that.
I did, brother.
Oh,
I
man,
walked through
man.
I walked through
Oh,
some flames to get where I'm at right now. Um,
damn, Chad, we need to get you help, man.
hey, that's why I tell all these new people, man, that jump in this field and they start their team and they're a professional 2 days
Yeah.
later, and sadly, okay, like for instance, I had Joe Clark on this case. Turned out to be one of the greatest Photoshop jobs ever. A picture of me and Joe, and it photoshopped a bear in between us. It was hilarious. And then later, I photoshopped Joe riding a bear. It was just absolutely
I think,
hilarious.
now, see, I would have believed that been real. I had me fooled on that
but
one. I,
but this is the craziest thing, man. And I don't know how this happened. The chances of this happening are few and far between. But we got a call to do a house in Summit, Kentucky, and they said we have demons in our house and we need help. And we had a team come in here and they told us we had demons, but they don't know what to do. And you guys have a website, so you must be good. And so we go to their house, and I always had an agreement with every case that I do on a home. I'm not going to come and do your house one time because that does me no good. It does them no good because ghosts just
yeah,
don't dance on cue. So I'm like, look, give me a couple of investigations, a couple solid investigations, maybe three, and then at the end of those, I have at least a body of evidence leaning one way or another, whether or not you have anything going on or not. And so the first investigation, there was nothing going on. The second investigation, we started hearing some of the noises that the first team said was growls, um, and weird noises coming from the walls when you're in the basement. Well, I fixed it for them the next day because after the investigation, I went home and went to bed, and then the next day I went and bought whole house pipe cleaner that cleans you the main drain out of your house. And I come back and poured it in every one of their commodes and had them flushed them a few times. And within a couple of days, all the gurgling and weird demonic sounds were gone from their house because you couldn't flush a turd in their house. Their
yeah,
main drain,
yeah,
their main drain was clogged. And so I told them, I'm like, you have no demons, you're safe.
yeah,
Well, we did three investigations, we got nothing. I'd even brought Joe because I was convinced there was going to be a demon in this house. So
yeah.
I had brought Joe, not because Joe's, straps on the shield to fight demons, but Joe's
Oh, yeah.
is
Joe kicked her ass.
Joe kicked her.
Joe kicked.
Don't you be pissing Joe Clark off. Joe's coming on the show next week too, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um, yeah, but Joe though is man, you don't fool him. He's
Yeah.
grounded in common sense and he's
Oh, I
analytical.
love
So
Joe.
I do too.
Joe's
So
badass.
he is, man. So Joe, we all concluded that there was absolutely nothing going on in that house. So this had went on for about a month, and we got the people calmed down. And then I get an email, okay, and it's a house in Huntington, West Virginia, not far from where I lived, and it said we have a special needs a child in the house that's bedridden, and there's a demon messing with it. We need your help. So they gave me a phone number. This come in my email. So then I called the number, and I'm like, well, tell me a little bit about your house, where you're located, and about your child, and what in the world? Why do you think you have a demon tormenting your child? And she said, well, because we kept hearing noises in our house, and we had a paranormal team come in here, and they told us we had
Mm.
demons. And I said, would the name of that paranormal team be? And I said the name, and she said, yeah, how'd you know? I said, because
Mm.
we just spent a month going to a house that they also claimed there were demons, and there was nothing but a clogged drain pipe. And I said, we'll come up. We'll come up. So we went up and we investigated a solid night. Um, no demons were found. We went back the next weekend and investigated a full night, and again, no demons were found. Nothing, no EVP, no nothing. It was a quiet house, and every now and then you would hear some noises, and I couldn't get the homeowner to understand that when you're on a hill, when you're high up on a hill, um, other noises that come high up from other hills will travel great distances to you.
Hmm.
And the noise that they were hearing at night that sounded like a demon was, there's an exit ramp from Interstate 64 that was about, they said too far of a distance to hear, but they were up on a hill. That exit is kind of high up, and that was 18 wheelers Jake brakes.
No.
Um, that's what it was, because I
Yeah.
captured the sound, and at first I thought, whoa, I kind of might have something here. But then once I cleaned it up and I realized, so the next time we went back, I sat outside while the team was inside, and I was getting, just every few minutes there's a truck stop on that exit. Every few minutes you just get that big Jake brake sound, and that's what the other team said were demonic growls coming from the walls. But sadly, that family would not believe me. They were convinced it was a demon,
Mm.
because of that other team told them they had a demon.
The devil
So
was a truck driver.
the the devil drove,
Yeah.
just like
He
that,
took
just
a
like that.
shower. He took a shower in that house and left his hairball in that drain.
That's what it
He went to become a
was.
truck driver.
Yeah, yeah, he went to truck driving school. I heard he could back a rig up though, brother. Um, that reminds me of that one movie with, what was it, with Emilio Estevez,
Oh
with all
yeah.
all the
Yeah.
all the
Like,
trucks were possessed.
what the hell was that movie? Man, oh my God, it's gonna drive me insane now. What the
I'm,
heck
I'm,
was
I,
that?
we're telling our age by
Oh my
knowing the
God, that was
movie.
no. Yeah, I
We're te-
know.
but we're also telling our age that we can't remember the name of the damn movie. Um,
Oh yeah. Yeah, you
I
ain't kidding.
remember it had AC/DC as the
Yep.
soundtrack.
Yep.
Um,
Oh man.
Overdrive.
Overdrive. Yep.
No, was it
Overdrive.
Overdrive? Overdrive. Yeah,
I think it was Overdrive. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
something
Pretty
similar to
sure.
Overdrive anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, that's what was going on, man. But no, it's, and that's what you get when you have these,
Yeah.
um, when you have these teams that's inexperienced going out. And that's the thing about doing houses, and that's another thing I told people when you're starting a paranormal team. Um, don't don't do residential houses at the beginning. Go to abandoned places that you can legally enter, or actually go to these pay to plays like our team, like TSP does, because we pay to be there, so it's ours. We're locked in. Go to those places and just get used to listening to audio, and
Mm, yeah.
debunk, and then maybe you can go in someone's home. But man, you can. People don't realize, if you think you're living in a haunted house, you think you are, and you have some people come in and you don't know if they know what they're doing. They got all these gadgets with lights, and then they come and stay in your house, and then the
Mm,
next day they
mm.
call you and they say you have got 127 demons, and they're all really pissed off, and they're living in your house. You
Yep.
don't
And
know.
it's because the obelisk
Yeah, no,
said this.
it's
It's a
because, yeah,
demon.
yeah, and the house has a
Oh my
demon in it
God.
because one of them's cousin come over with a Ouija board in
Yes.
1983, and there's been a demon there
Yeah.
ever since. You
Been
know.
one sitting there ever since. Every once in a while he drives a truck. He goes out on the road and
Yeah.
he'll come back.
He drives a
He'll take a
truck. Yeah.
shower. He'll leave a hairball in the sink. He clog it up. It's the devil. I'm
Stan,
telling you.
that that is why he comes. That's why the devil can only come around ever so often. He can't be there every night, because when
Yeah.
you got a dedicated run to California and back, you can't be hanging out in Kentucky.
Yeah, exactly, man. You got time. I mean, he's time, man. You got a timer on him. I mean, he's got to go.
So
Yeah, these old teams out here, man. They just and see that's what I had to get away from, man. I had to get away from that, and I know you did too. And
yes,
it's
yes,
but yeah, man, I like to get all that back. What we had. I mean, what we had. Looking at what we got now, and looking what we had. I mean, not to brag or nothing, but I think we did it so much better. We were more genuine, to clients and to each other. And I mean, you knew something really happened when you look at Joe Clark and he had that look in his eye. He didn't have to
yep,
say nothing. Or you know what I'm saying? You go, oh man, he just saw something. You don't have to even say a word.
No,
They
you
don't have that
you
nowadays.
we do not. And I'll tell you something else that we used to have. I used to have multiple investigators, Joe being one of them, that I could email and say, "Hey, bro, check out this audio clip and let me know what you think."
Hmm.
And I would trust when they would message back and say, "Well, I cleaned it up and this is what I hear," or "It's nothing," or "It's one of your teammates." Uh, you could share in amongst yourselves in the community. You could share and rely on each other. Um, and now it's like I wouldn't ask anyone. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
the
ask. I mean, I would
credibility is
ask
just
you. Yeah, the
the
credibility
credibility
is
just went kind of is just not there. I
it's
mean, it's
not.
I mean, and I love some of these folks. Don't get me wrong, some of these folks out here, and I love what they do because they entertain, they really do, and some of them do the research. I got a there's a guy that I go out with, Cody Stark is his name, super nice guy, man, and he knows what he's doing, man, and he is out there. He's like we were, man. He's like a young us. That's why I like this guy a lot. And I like to get him where you can get him on a radio show, man, to actually
I
talk to
would
this
love
guy
to.
because
I would love
he's a
to.
young genius, man. He is a young genius on this stuff, and he goes out there and he tests these apps out, and he gives you honest opinion on it too, man. He don't sugarcoat this stuff, and he's not afraid to hurt people's feelings. He'll tell you that app is crap,
Yeah.
but I like this one because of this, or this
Right.
equipment. I like this. I like the flux, or I like the EMF rope, but I don't like that. And he
Right.
explains that, and he's young,
Yeah.
like I say, he's in his 30s, he's young 30s, and man, he is out there, dude. He's doing this almost every night, at least 5 to 6 times a week out
Oh
there lives,
wow.
and he's getting 5 to 600 or I mean 5 or 600 watchers a night. Man, he's getting hundreds of followers a night per watch. I mean, man, this guy is like, man, he's really growing fast. He's got the walk, he's got the talk, he's got the look. I mean, he's smart. I mean, dude, I mean, but not everybody is like Cody. I see a
Yeah.
thousand out there that's not, and then you see one Cody, and he's starting to stand out. Now, that's what I like about now. You know what I'm saying? But I mean,
Hmm.
but there's thousands of them out there that's just, man, they yell at demon all the time. And it's like you said, they're waiting to walk around the corner and see the devil smoking a cigarette. Hey man,
Yeah.
I mean, you want to hit of this? I mean,
Yeah.
you're exactly right though, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. That's how it
times have
is, man.
changed.
Times have
Times have
changed.
changed.
And speaking of time, we're down to like 3 minutes. So
Oh wow.
I know it flies when we talk, brother. So
It
what I
does.
want though, what I want is I want you to now get to shamelessly plug yourself. I want you to tell anybody out there how they can find you, where you at, um, if they can find you through Facebook or TikTok. I know you're on TikTok and you're doing well. So how can the listeners
Yeah.
find the world's most
I
dangerous man?
but I'm 99% on TikTok. I mean, 1% on Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
Facebook got enough drama on it, man. I check it every now and then, but I'm on TikTok a lot. It's a past underscore resurrected, and you'll see uh you'll see like a skeleton on there with a hat. You know what I'm saying, in a graveyard is my little logo that I use a lot, and we made some T-shirts and things and cards and stuff. Get it out there, But yeah, you can find me on TikTok, and I do TikTok lives, and try to go at least a couple times a week, usually weekends and stuff like that. And I'll hit a lot of these cemeteries at night, and so of course we get permission, saying stuff like that. But we do it the legal way. But
Yeah.
but I go out there and I test equipment and things out, man, and I just have fun with it, man. You know,
All right, brother.
that's how you find
Well,
me.
we need to bring you back on because
That sounds
there's
good.
we got into so much conversation tonight that we didn't even really get to hit on some of the equipment that you're building and trying out. So let's do this again here shortly. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Sounds
we'll do
fun.
this again, and I'll have live capabilities here soon. So we might even be able to talk Stan into when he's doing one of his um, live TikToks, we may be able to tag along and get him to do some live stuff here on Zoom
Yeah,
and show us some of that equipment while it's in action. What do you think, bud?
absolutely.
There you
That
go. You
sounds
heard it.
fun.
You heard it here first. So thanks for everyone for tuning in. Again, the McKenzie Hour. You can find me on Facebook, the McKenzie Hour. You can also find me on You will find me on YouTube soon. I have a YouTube channel, but I've only used it to watch things. But I am starting to upload these podcasts on my YouTube channel. And you can also find me at TSP Mac Ghost Hunter on TikTok. That's Titty Sprinkles Paranormal Mac Ghost Hunter TSP Mac Ghost Hunter. That's what I am on TikTok. I am putting these podcasts on TikTok. Stan, I can send you copies. You're more than welcome to upload anything you want onto TikTok. Um, that any of our recordings you want to upload there, brother, you can do it to it, man.
It's awesome.
It's been a pleasure having you on here, brother. I sincerely miss you, and hopefully we can actually get together. We're not that far apart, 2.5 hours or
Yeah.
something. So
Yep.
maybe we could pick a midway point one time, and we could get together and do some stuff.
Sounds good.
All right,
I
brother. Thanks
appreciate you, man.
everyone.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, and thanks everyone for listening. And we will see you next week.